What's going on there, YouTube? A feller found this old mandolin here at a local music store that seemed very unloved. So figured we'd try to get her back on the road. She needs some work. Kind of overview that here at the beginning. What all we're going to do to it. They picked this bad Jimbo up for $100. So I figured can't really go wrong too much with that. Kind of made me sad seeing it up on the shelf all by its lonesome. So I'll give you a little backstory on it, and we will get going. So a little bit on this mandolin. It is a silver tone mandolin, and the history on this is actually pretty cool. And I'll dive into that here in a second. And I want to preface with the fact that I really have no absolute clue what I'm doing. I'm no way, shape, or form a luthier. I've played music since I was 8 years old. I am not the mandolin player of the family, of course. My dad is, so I've been taking pointers from him on this project. And I'd kind of like to maybe dip my toes a little bit into playing the mandolin, just as a fun little project. And when it comes to this thing, this mandolin has some severe issues, and I'm not 100% sure that I can get it back on the road. I'm hoping that I can, because it's a beautiful old mandolin. And if you play music in any form, you know that it hurts your soul to see an old instrument, sit on a shelf and not get used. So I figured it can't really hurt to at least try. You can tell that this mandolin has had some miles on it. We have some definite issues on it that we're going to go over. The mandolin had strings on it when I got it. I've already taken those off. The mandolin has a very bad bow in the neck. I'm not sure if it was going to pick up on camera. It's worse towards the tail, towards the body of the mandolin. And it looks like we're getting a little bit of separation here. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm not sure how detrimental that's going to be. What I'm going to try to do is straighten this neck. I have a method I looked up that we're going to look into. But first, a little history on this is, from my research, this mandolin appears to be from the 40s or 50s. And it was actually a Sears and Roebuck mail order catalog mandolin. And I'll include some cool photos here of some of that. Essentially, you could order this in two different styles. You had the cheaper style that looked like it was more of a sunburst, like black in finish. And then you had this one, which was considered the better mandolin of the time. And I believe this pick guard's been changed at some point, because all of the photographs that I've seen of these mandolins original have a white pick guard. And I don't think this is really going to affect what we're doing too much, but you can tell that this has definitely been changed at some point, because it looks like we have a self-tapper here. There was a standoff here on the original screw, and we don't have that here, which I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. Like I said, this is more of a budget beater project here, and I don't think we can really hurt it more than it's already been hurt. So I found this in a local music store, and it was hanging up with their banjos and mandolins all the way at the top, and I've seen it in there for a while. It's been in there for years, and no one touched it. And I just assumed it wasn't for sale. I figured it was just a decoration piece. And I went in there recently and I said, "Hey, is that mandolin for sale?" Because I've seen it in here forever. And of course he hit me with everything's for sale. And made him an offer on it, and we picked up this for $100 flat, which I don't think is horrible. Is it awesome? No. But the fact that it's roughly 75 plus years old and still here is good enough for me in my book to at least try. And it's doing a lot better here with me than sitting up on the shelf somewhere. So a fella's going to try to get this going.
The tuners were in very, very bad shape, very dry, just completely rotted, crumbling. Most of them completely crumbled, as you can see, as I was taking the strings off. It only had half the strings on it to start with. So basically what we're going to try to do here is I ordered a set of Golden Gate A model mandolin tuners, and we are going to put these on. These seem like a pretty suitable replacement. Guy got these for a pretty good price, so they appear to line up beautifully with the original tuners. So the only difference that I see is we have 5 screw holes here to mount this puppy, and the original has 3. They do look like they line up, the 3 that are on the original to the new, but I may drill a couple holes and put 5 in, but we'll see. I may just put the 3 in, call it a day, see how sturdy it really is. So we're going to try to get these off now, and then we're going to do a complete clean over, get all this grime off, and go from there. Alright, we're going to try to get these old tuners out, see what we get. Looks like 3 screws each. Alright, so first set of screws, let's see if she wants to come out. Oh, there she comes. I really like these old style tuners. They kind of remind me of Grovers in a sense, but they are no good. Oh, just playing a little hard to get. Come on, baby. Definitely a snug fit. There we go. Come on out of there. There we go. There they are. You can see they're literally crumbling as I'm trying to take them off. They are shot. So, looks like these are going to go in the brass scrap bin. Let's do the other side. Alright, let's see if this side comes out. So that's coming out a little easier than the last side. There they are. Also crusty. Out with the old. Now, we're going to lightly clean this. Some of this off. You can tell this mandolin has definitely seen action. I would have loved to know more backstory on this. And you can just tell it's been used, finished being rubbed off, and would love to know what jamming tunes this thing has put out. So now we're going to do a deep clean on this pup, and once it's clean, you're going to try to get all this growtiness off here and some of this dust and grime, and then we are going to put the new tuners in, see if they fit. Alright, for cleaning solution, the feller's got this Martin guitar polish. I've used this for a very long time, and it doesn't seem to leave my instrument greasy or leave streaks. So we're going to rock this. I'm not going to go too crazy on this. I never want to mess up the finish on any instrument, especially an old one. And you can tell this thing's got some really cool checking. And I'd like to cherish that for a long time. So we're going to spray on the rack rather than on the instrument itself. And we're going to start with the body, actually. We're just going to give it a little bit. Clean this bridge area. Clean this down here. I got some nastiness going on. You can see. Try to get her nice and scrubbed up. This Mandolin probably hasn't seen this much love in its life. We're going to give this fretboard a little love, although here in a little bit we're going to be working on this even more. I have a method I looked up online that we're going to try to straighten this. Looks like it has a forward bow, if I'm saying that right. I really think this Mandolin has some potential. I really do. See, this headstock cleans up. This is the worst part. Oh yeah, it's cleaned up. Oh, nice. This isn't a pearl inlay, so I want to try to be careful with this logo here. She's definitely a dirty girl. No doubt about that. Look at that. It's amazing to me how many instruments are just sitting in shops across the country that are not getting any love. They're just sitting there and dying. Not on my watch. A little bit of something. I'll be honest with you, from certain indicators, I think this thing sat in a barn for a little while, which doesn't really help our case too much, but this Mandolin's cleaning up pretty nice. So like I said, bear with me, because it's my first time working on a mandolin. I have many guitars. I've worked on many guitars. I don't think these are directional. There's nothing on them that indicates that they have to go one way or the other, left or right. So I know we will find out once we try to put strings on it. But we'll see what we get here. We're gonna try the side first. Oh man, like a glove. How are these screw holes gonna line up, I wonder? They appear like they do. Oh yeah. This thing is gonna look beautiful. Alright, let's see if we can get some screws in this thing. Alright, let's see if these screw holes are going to behave. These screws look like they might be a little smaller than the stock screws. If that's the case, then we are probably going to have to use those. Oh, seeming like it's going in. We're going to snug these and get them all in hopes that they'll all line up. One more in the middle. I think I'm just going to put 3 in these, because the old tuners only had 3. I don't really see a need to try to force another 2 in it. If I have issues with these backing out, I will. I don't think we're going to have that issue here. I go light so these don't strip out. Alright, there's one side. Alright, I'm very pleased with how that turned out. Oh yeah. She's gonna love those. Hopefully they sit off of the face the same. It appears they will, maybe a little higher. I don't think that matters. Lord knows we will find out. But that is already a big difference. We got tunerage. That one spins. That one spins. I definitely am a bigger fan of the F-style tuners because they don't hit each other and get in the way. These all appear to be moving. Much better. Nice and shiny. Now we have to tackle this neck. She's not ready for strings yet because of how bad this neck is. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out what I want to do, because it's got a pretty bad bow right here, and it is separating a little bit here as well. And I'm not sure what to do to remedy this. I'm gonna try to do the easy route, which is probably gonna screw me anyway. And I'm gonna try to just straighten this neck out. It's just at the bottom. You can see where it starts to bow towards the tail. So what I'm gonna do, actually, is I have a bean bag here that we are going to saturate slightly and put in the microwave. This has beans in it, rice, something of the sort, corn kernels. We're gonna heat this up in the microwave super hot and hope that it's just a little damp. And then figure out a way to rest this. Not this way, of course, because it'll add to the bow. But we want to apply some weight to this and rest this beanbag on here in an attempt to somehow straighten this out. Alright, so you can see here, I got it laying face down on the table. And you can see through the light the bow that we have. It gets worse there, and then you can see the tail piece. Most of it's due because of this. So what I'm going to do is put the heat compress here with some weighted books, and I'm really hoping it transfers the heat through this and attempts to straighten it out. If not, then, I mean, like I said, it can't make it any worse than it is. So, we'll see.